A total of 16 equally probable events exist. If it is required to select one out of them, the number of required bits is A2, B4, C3, D5. The correct answer is 4. When modulation index of an AM wave is increased from 0.5 to 1, the transmitted power A remains the same. B increases by 25. C increases by 33.3. D increases by 50. The correct answer is increases by 33.3. Quantizing error occurs in A TDM, B FDM, C PCM, D PWD. The correct answer is PCM. In audio cassettes, the width of each recording track is A 5 mm, B 2.5 mm, C 1.5 mm, D 1 mm. The correct answer is 2.5 mm. The most commonly used transistor amplifier circuit is A CB, B CC, C CE, D CE or CC. The correct answer is CE. When energy is fed into open wire transmission line, the energy may get dissipated due to A radiation, B conductor heating, C dielectric heating, D all of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. Fourier series expansion of a real periodic signal with fundamental frequency is given by it is given that C33J5. Then C3 is A5J3, B3J5, C5J3, D3J5. The correct answer is 3J5. Loudness control gives A high boost to bass and little boost to treble. B equal boost to bass and treble. C less boost to bass and more boost to treble. D less boost to both bass and treble. The correct answer is high boost to bass and little boost to treble. A mobile telephone has a range of about A 50 km, B 10 km, C 1 km, D 0.1 km. The correct answer is 50 km. If transmitted power is 75 kilowatts, the field strength at 30 km distance will be about A 10 Vm, B 1 Vm, C 50 mVm, D 2 mVm. The correct answer is 50 mVm. In the television system in India, each frame is scanned A 100 times, B 50 times, C 20 times, D 10 times. The correct answer is 50 times. Each kilometer of travel in electromagnetic radiation means a time delay of A 330 s, B 33 s, C 3.3 s, D 0.33 s. The correct answer is 3.3 s. A video monitor is exactly similar to TV receiver. A true, B false, C, D. The correct answer is false. A radar can be used to A aim a gun at an aircraft, B to direct guided missiles, C to search submarines, D all of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. In single-tone AM modulation, the transmission efficiency for M1 is A 33.3, B 50, C 100, D 16.65. The correct answer is 33.3. AM amplifier having noise figure of 20 dB and available power gain of 15 dB is followed by a mixer circuit having noise figure of 9 dB. The overall noise figure as referred to input in dB is A 10.44, B 11.07, C 21.52, D 0.63. The correct answer is 10.44. Which one of the following is non-resonant antenna? A. Folded dipole. B. Broadside array. C. End-fire array. D. Rhombic antenna. The correct answer is rhombic antenna. If the oscillator output is modulated by audio frequencies up to 10 kHz, the frequency range occupied by the sidebands will be A. 711.9 kHz to 712.1 kHz. B. 702 kHz to 722 kHz. C. 692 kHz to 732 kHz. D. 71.2 kHz to 71.20 kHz. The correct answer is 702 kHz to 722 kHz. The efficiency of using a binary system for selection of 1 out of 13 equally probable events is A. 100. B. About 92. C. About 83. D. About 71. The correct answer is 100. The most suitable method for detecting a modulated signal GT3 to 6 cos 2 pfmt cos 2 pfct is A. Envelope detector. B. Synchronous detector. C. Ratio detector. D. Both A and B. The correct answer is envelope detector. The time required for horizontal blanking is 16 of that for each horizontal line. If horizontal time is 63.5 s, the horizontal blanking time for each line is about A. 1 s. B. 10 s. C. 100 s. D. None of the above. The correct answer is 10 s. When the number of quantizing levels is 16 in PCM, the number of pulses in a code group will be A. 3. B. 4. C. 8. D. 16. The correct answer is 4. A message signal with bandwidth 10 kHz is lower sideband SSB modulated with carrier frequency FC 116 Hz. The resulting signal is then passed through a narrowband frequency modulator with carrier frequency FC 210 Hz. The bandwidth of the output would be A. 4x10 4 Hz. B. 2x10 6 Hz. C. 2x10 9 Hz. D. 2x10 10 Hz. The correct answer is 2x10 6 Hz. In a PCM system, if the code word length is increased from 6 to 8 bits, the signal to quantization noise ratio improves by the factor A. 86. B. 12. C. 16. D. 8. The correct answer is 16. For 10-bit PCM system, the signal to quantization noise ratio is 62 dB. If the number of bits is increased by 2, then the signal to quantization noise ratio will A. increased by 6 dB. B. increased by 12 dB. C. decreased by 6 dB. D. decreased by 12 dB. The correct answer is increased by 12 dB. The video heads in VCR feed the other circuit. A. directly windings. B. through a transformer having 2 rotating windings. C. through a transformer having 2 stationary windings. D. through a transformer having 1 stationary and 1 rotatory winding. The correct answer is through a transformer having 1 stationary and 1 rotatory winding. A high pulse repetition frequency in a radar. A. increases the maximum range. B. decreases the maximum range. C. has no effect on the maximum range. D. either A or B depending on other factors. The correct answer is has no effect on the maximum range. In PCM, the biggest disadvantage as compared to AM is A. larger bandwidth. B. larger noise. C. inability to handle analog signals. D. incompatibility with time division multiplex systems. The correct answer is larger bandwidth. Which of the following microphones is the cheapest? A. Moving coil. B. Condenser. C. Ribbon. D. Carbon. The correct answer is carbon. When the carrier is unmodulated, a certain transmitter radiates 9 kW. When the carrier is sinusoidally modulated, the transmitter radiates 10.125 kW. The modulation index will be A 0.1, B 10.15, C 0.4, D 0.5. The correct answer is 0.5. If a line is terminated in characteristic impedance Z0, the input impedance measured at the input will be A Z0, B Z02, C 0, D infinite. The correct answer is Z0. In a TV, the output from RF tuner is about A 1V, B 1000V, C 100V, D 0.5V. The correct answer is 1000V. 24 telephone channels, each band limited to 3.4 kHz, are to be time division multiplexed by using PCM. Calculate the bandwidth of PCM system for 128 quantization levels and an 8 kHz sampling frequency. A 192 kHz, B 2 MHz, C 1.299 MHz, D 1.54 MHz. The correct answer is 1.54 MHz. A signal is sampled at 8 kHz and is quantized using 8-bit uniform quantizer. Assuming SNRQ for a sinusoidal signal, the correct statement for PCM signal with a bit rate of R is AR 32 kbps, SNRQ 25.8 dB. BR 64 kbps, SNRQ 49.8 dB. CR 64 kbps, SNRQ 58.8 dB. DR 32 kbps, SNRQ 49.8 dB. The correct answer is R 64 kbps, SNRQ 49.8 dB. Generally, a VCR has A4 stationary video heads, B2 stationary video heads, C4 rotating video heads, D2 rotating video heads. The correct answer is 2 rotating video heads. A remote control of TV uses a 10-bit word. The maximum number of total commands it can transmit is A 64, B 256, C 512, D 1024. The correct answer is 1024. Telesign equipment in a TV studio consists of A. Projector telesign, B. Flying spot telesign, C. Digital CCD telesign, D. None of the above. The correct answer is none of the above. TV signal strength when expressed in dBm has the reference of A 10 Vm, B 5 Vm, C 2 Vm, D 1 Vm. The correct answer is 1 Vm. A sinusoidal voltage amplitude modulates a carrier of peak value 5 kV. Each sideband has an amplitude of 500 V. The modulation index is A 0.1, B 0.2, C 0.4, D 0.8. The correct answer is 0.2. Kel factor is about A 5, B 3, C 0.7, D 0.2. The correct answer is 0.7. An antenna has a resistance of 50 and an equivalent noise resistance of 30. The noise figure in decibels is A 1.6 dB, B 2 dB, C 3.6 dB, D 6 dB. The correct answer is 2 dB. An MTI radar operating at 5 GHz has a PRF of 800 pps. The lowest blind speed is A 48 ms, B 96 ms, C 192 ms, D 24 ms. The correct answer is 48 ms. For maximum output, the width of air gap of audio head should be A equal to wavelength, B half the wavelength, C 1/4 the wavelength, D very small as compared to wavelength. The correct answer is half the wavelength. The simplest mixer circuit for public address system uses A fixed resistances, B variable resistances, C inductances, D capacitances. The correct answer is variable resistances. PAM stands for A phase angle modulation, B phase amplitude modulation, C pulse amplitude modulation, D pulse angle modulation. The correct answer is pulse amplitude modulation. In a perfect conductor, the resistor noise is A maximum, B 0, C very high, D almost infinite. The correct answer is 0. An RF carrier of 12 kV at 1 MHz is amplitude modulated by 1 kHz signal having peak value of 6 kV. The modulation pattern is seen on cross screen. The voltage indicated will be A 18 kV, B 1.001 kV, C 6 kV, D 36 kV. The correct answer is 36 kV. In push-pull amplifier, each transistor conducts for A 180, B 360, C 90, D 45. The correct answer is 180. In the television system in India, each channel is allowed a bandwidth of A 20 MHz, B 12 MHz, C 7 MHz, D 3 MHz. The correct answer is 7 MHz. A diode detector load consists of 0.01 F capacitor in parallel with a 5 k ohms resistor. The maximum depth of modulation without diagonal clipping at modulating frequency of 1000 Hz and 10 kHz is A 0.76 0.24, B 0.95 0.3, C 0.24076, D 0.30 0.95. The correct answer is 0.95 0.3.